morning, Mr. Benmosche. I'm Sita Sonty with the U.S. Embassy Public Affairs Section. We've invited Mr. Benmosche to answer a couple of questions that we received through our web streaming from AIG in Croatia and Zagreb in Zagreb. One question is, coming actually from a regional marketing firm in Croatia and Serbia. They said that we sense apprehension from businesses in the region when we encourage them to engage in open communication with customers. How do you convince them that transparency is the proper approach for growth?
Well, I think transparency is important, but it's got to start with the environment we're operating in. And so it's important, as I said here in the session, is the government has laws, they're good laws, they're well thought out laws, but we've got to begin to come up with a better method of supervision, from the judges all the way through to the Book of Deeds and other things that says we're dealing with a very strong foundation and we have laws and we can rely on those laws. And so that begins to talk about what are our challenges and business challenges, but if you don't have a strong foundation that you can count on in law, and law around commerce, and know that it's going to be acted on, then it's very difficult to want to invest and commit capital and take risks, because the business risk is more than enough. You can't take business risk and risks of the system on top of that and be able to get something.
From Zagreb, then, can you tell us how we can talk people here into understanding that insurance of their businesses is the same as investing in their long-term prospects? Do you believe that there's a proper understanding of the insurance industry in this region?
I think that there's not, but you know, it's a question of affordability and what people can afford to buy to protect, and they don't understand can they afford not to protect. If you look at the losses that we're dealing with just this quarter at AIG, we've already reported over $1 billion in losses. In Japan, in New Zealand, the earthquake, we had floods in Australia, we had an uprising in Egypt, which we are covering, we had hailstorms in the United States that we're covering. So businesses have to ask themselves, if something goes wrong, will they be able to withstand that on their own? And if not, then the idea of insurance is to have a cooperative where you can actually diversify that risk among many people. And that's really something this region needs to understand more and decide its affordability. But if you have a stronger business base that we can operate on, the more companies in here competing for insurance will reduce the cost of insurance. You're just not getting enough competition and you don't have enough there, so therefore the smaller the number of people insured, the greater the cost, because you don't have enough distribution of that risk over many different insurers.
And do you think that, speaking of diversification, there's a possibility of companies from different countries in this region to share risk? Is there enough communication among them as a community to actually engage collectively?
I don't know the answer to that question technically. What we do in reinsurance, if we're worried about the concentration of risk, we find somebody to reinsure to. And so reinsurers will do that, but again, it's got to be enough here that makes it worth everybody's while. And I don't have a good answer for you because I haven't studied the region in detail to say what is the total volume here and whether that's enough to really make a difference.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.
Okay.